If you're on a tight budget but you still want to leverage the power of Facebook advertising, you need to start using dynamic creatives. Now don't get angry if you don't know what is dynamic creative. Let me explain. In simple terms, if you want to test hundreds of variations of ads leveraging the Facebook machine, you have to start using this feature. First, let me show you how to set up properly the dynamic creatives inside your ad manager so you can get the maximum results from it. What you have to do is to go to your Facebook Ads Manager, and then once you create your first campaign, go to the ad set level, and right here after the conversion event section, we have this small feature that says dynamic creative. We have to switch it on. So at the ad set level we're already done. Now let's go to the ad level where we create those variations of images, of text, headlines, and also call to actions. When we are on the ad level, first of all, what it requires is to select the images and the videos that we want to give to Facebook for our dynamic creatives. Here, you can make a combination of images and videos, where you can go ahead and only test images or only videos. What you have to keep in mind is that you can add up to 10 assets. I think for this example, I'm going to upload only 5 images. After adding the images, the videos, whatever you want to add here, when we scroll down, we have here a small feature that says to optimize our creative for each person. I highly recommend you to switch that on, because when you do that, Facebook is going to do their best job to make sure that they will personalize your creatives based on their users and based on how they behave on their platforms. To give you a clear idea, we didn't only add 5 images in this case, but we actually added 5 variations, 5 variables for Facebook to combine with the next options. The next thing is primary text. Basically, this is the text that is above the image on Facebook, or it's under the image on Instagram. When it comes to the primary text, here instead of 10 variables, you can add up to 5. Now for this example, I added 3 of them. So far, we have 5 variables of visuals and 3 variables of primary text. Then we have headlines, which I don't know why, but Facebook says it's optional. Actually, the headline is quite important, because if we look how the customer is going through their journey, first they see the visual and then they look at your headline. And the third thing is your primary text. Again, for headlines, you can add up to 5 variables. For this example, I just added 3, and you can play around with how many you want to test, and also based on how much you want to spend for this particular ad. You might also add 5 variables of descriptions if you want that. For this example, I'm just gonna leave it blank. And the last variation you can do is with your call to actions. You can add again up to 5 call to actions variations. I'm gonna use Shop Now and Order Now because this is more compelling. This is gonna resonate more with the audience that we're trying here to target. So now what is Facebook AI gonna do with all these variables? We've gave them a lot of actually assets to use for this particular ad. Now if we look at the ad level, it seems that we have only one ad, right? But inside this ad, we have multiple assets that we wanna test. If you do that in a regular way, then you might have a ton of combinations, and frankly, you will need quite a huge budget to test all these variables alone. Whereas using dynamic creatives, Facebook is going to do the heavy lifting for us by testing and by making these combinations with our assets. What I mean is basically, if you think about how many combinations we can make here, just alone the image with a primary text, if we take the image number 1, and they will do a combination with a primary text 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, then we will take the image number 2, and they will combine with a primary text 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and so on and so forth. Let's just make a calculation to find out how many combinations Facebook is going to do with these assets. So if we have 5 images, 3 primary texts, 3 headlines, and 2 call to actions, that will be 5 times 3 times 3 times 2. So we have 45 combinations. No, actually 90. Can you imagine how much money you should put into and how much time you should allocate to test 90 variations? Just picture this, to test 90 variations in isolation. That's why dynamic creatives, they are so powerful and they can be leveraged in a very, very good way, even for people who don't have that big budget to test their ads. I mentioned a little bit about the budgeting, so if we dive into this topic and also the timing, I want to mention one thing both about this. If you're thinking to upload 10 images or 10 videos with 5 headlines and 5 primary texts and like 5 call to actions using a budget of $10, then you have to be aware that you have to give it a lot of time. Like I'm talking about at least 1 month in order to get the data back and see what's working. You have to make that healthier ratio between the budgeting and the assets that you want to give to Facebook for testing dynamically your creatives. For example, if you want to upload something like I did in my example with 5 images, 3 headlines and 3 primary texts, then probably you will need a budget of like $30 to $50 a day and to let it run for like 7 days. Okay, Archie, I got you. I'm going to test dynamically these creatives, but then what should I do after this? Well, after this is gonna be very simple. You don't need to make it very complicated. After a certain period of time, you'll create a super muscular, incredible hero ad. That is gonna be your go-to ad from now on. That particular ad, you'll find out the best image or video, the best primary text, the best headline. So from there, you can combine all those things in just one single regular ad. And you can take 2 directions here. One is to take that proven ad and run it as a regular ad creative and gather the social proof. I'm talking about likes, comments, and shares. And in that way, it's gonna be more compelling for people to take action. Not only it's because of that proven combination, but also on top of it, it has some social proof, which is quite important nowadays for people. They want to make sure that this is a legit brand, and usually they associate that with vanity metrics like likes, shares, and comments. Where the second direction is to just keep running the dynamic creative, but adjusting some things inside it. So what I'm talking about is to remove the creatives or the texts that are not converting at all and run only the assets that are converting, that are giving you results, and also keep increasing the budget gradually for that particular campaign. I believe now you have some clarity about dynamic creatives, and again, if you're on a tight budget, that is your go-to, because you don't want really to have like hundreds or tens of ads in your ad manager if you're brand new at account and you don't have enough budget for it. Yet you can leverage the power of Facebook ads using these kind of tools. I hope you will go and implement everything that I teach, because it does take time to record these videos and create content for you, and it is gonna be very fulfilling for me to see that you take action. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video and if you are new to my channel, click on the subscribe button and turn on notifications. Also, give me a thumbs up and comment below how many ads you will go to launch in your dynamic creative campaign. That will be pretty cool to see it. For now, that's it, and I will see you in my next video.